Hey, how you
Hello.
doing?
Oh, what's up?
Hello.
Hey, we got everybody here.
The Two Faces for Radio Zoom Room.
All right. Well, let's get down to business, I guess. I'm Jackson. Tommy's in, or
You're a
I'm
dumbass. You're a
I'm
dumbass.
Tommy. Jackson's in here as well. Sorry, we just recorded the podcast and I got everything mixed up. Anyways, last time we talked to you guys, it was towards the beginning of the pandemic. Right when you guys released Bang, we had a great conversation about that. But now, obviously, OK Orchestra drops today. Tell us a little bit about creating that project and how that went down.
Yeah, so this was our pandemic album. It kind of got us through this horrible, monotonous time, having this purpose and this world to escape into every day. It's definitely our most inward-facing album we've ever made. It's really just about the character of AJR. It's really about the memories we have and the puzzle pieces that kind of make us who we are as people. It's much less of an album about parties and movies and those social aspects of life. But it's honestly some of our favorite music that we've ever made.
No, I remember you mentioning something in like the first episode, like you really got a lot of your inspiration by like going out and seeing how people act in certain situations and like making songs on that. So is this album like the deepest album you guys think you ever made? Just like sitting there and thinking about your own thoughts?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's what happens. Sorry, you can go ahead, but I was just gonna say it's kind of what happens when you run out of things in front of you. Like the human mind. You can't think about nothing, So when you've run out of distractions and you've gotten really bored, the mind needs some place to go. And of course, like every human that overthinks and, has anxiety and insecurity, whatever, you're going to go back to, your brain's going to go to, wait, that was a weird thing I said back in 8th grade. Did I not have said that? Would my whole life be different because of that? So that's an uncomfortable place to go, but it also makes for really, really great songs that people can relate to. So we did go there a bunch of times.
We wanted this episode of the podcast, just since it's all coming out at the same time, because it's dropping tonight at midnight as well. We wanted this to kind of be like the ultimate fan guide. So any fan of AJR that's listening to this can be like, all right, this is what, like this is kind of like behind the scenes like stuff. So we have some questions about the album, specifically songs. So for example, going through the album, I know it's hard to pick a favorite. Do you have a favorite that stands out that a fan can listen to and be like, oh, this one's Jack's favorite, this one's Adam's favorite? Like, yeah,
I think we all have separate favorites. I can go first. My favorite is a song called "The Trick," and it's definitely a weirder song on the album. And it's I don't want to go too much into what it's about because it's really fun for people to listen and figure it out themselves. But as soon as you start listening, it's about this very weird character with this weird predicament that is, a little off-putting and then kind of gets relatable. It's a bit of a story. So I thought it was, it's one of the more emotional ones on the album. For me, a song called 3 O'Clock Things, I'm really proud of. It's like a stream of consciousness song of exactly how your brain sounds at 3 a.m. where you're trying to fall asleep and your brain is just kind of going nonstop, and the weird thoughts that you have, and then trying to balance, is any of this real, and am I even real? And it gets kind of political. I think it's like a nice little embodiment of what AJR does well.
Very cool.
Nice.
My favorite one is a song called Joe, and I think it's been my favorite on the album since Ryan and Jack played it for me. The concept is great, but I think one of the things that I really connect to about it is the production, because it's this real dichotomy. There's a mix of this classical piano that comes in the beginning, and then there's a beatboxing that comes in, and then there's like a more hip-hoppy beat underneath it. It's just a really kind of weird and strange collaboration between those different types of production.
That's
It's funny, Adam, what you just brought up. Like, I remember watching that virtual show you guys did, One Spectacular Night, a few weeks or months ago, whatever it was. But when you guys broke down the production of Bang and did that performance, that was incredible. Like, I know you guys said sometimes when you make these songs, like in your head, you're kind of thinking of like, okay, this is what's going to happen on stage with this. Was that like the direct idea? Like, oh, let's break this down. Let's go to that guy in the subway, all that kind of stuff. Like, what was the thought process there?
No, I guess when we were making Bang, that's probably we always do a making of, and I don't think we ever know what it's going to be until we get to the point where like, okay, now in the show is when we're going to do our making of, which song are we going to do this time, which would be really fun for people to, go into. And Bang has so much of that. Bang has this very, very weird horns. They're like, where did you guys sample those? Did you make them? And then there's, of course, the subway system guys. So there was a lot of pieces that just really, really worked, that were really interesting to hear about. So that Bang felt like the obvious choice.
Very cool. What when listeners are listening, when your fans are listening to the album, do you, in your mind, are they going from track 1 to 13, or are they hitting shuffle on it?
We definitely make the album, I think, like a lot of artists, in order for a reason. We pick the order for a reason, and I think we always tweet out at the beginning, which we should.
We should. Yeah.
I just realized what you said. That we want people to listen in order. And yeah, we really try to tell stories with the album, and that's a really cliche thing to do, but it's really important when listening through an album to not get bored. You know, you hear one person's story and you don't want to hear something identical next because you just heard that guy, you know, and now who's this next character? How's this next person? What's this next person's emotion? What time of day is it? So we put songs in order for a very particular reason. I'm sure eventually people will just start hitting shuffle when they get to know the song better, which we all do. But at first, ideally, in order is best.
So I guess the question, kind of basing on that, do you guys go like what I call the Star Wars order? Like, do you make the third song and then realize, oh, there's something that belongs before this? Or are you guys going from 1 to 13? Or if it, you know what I mean?
We're definitely not going from 1 to 13.
No, I think we knew we were going to start with an overture, so that was kind of the obvious first song. We had all these ideas of big, like, bombastic finales to do because we did that on Neo Theater, and then we wrote this song, Christmas in June, and it came out very understated and like the end of like Little Miss Sunshine or Juno, or like the end of like an indie movie. And it felt like, oh, you know what, here's a better way to end this more melancholy album as opposed to with this huge theatrical ending. And so that became clear, okay, that has to be the ending. We have these bookends now. And then it was just about what kind of story can we tell of it, whether the story is like we want our audience to get a little more jaded and older and disillusioned, or we want our audience to get happier and happier throughout, which I think that's kind of more of what we ended up doing. But that was kind of the arc.
Got it. It's obvious you guys are artists, because all of this is like, I don't know how in the world you guys think of this stuff. It's crazy.
Is there
That's funny.
Is there a song with the like coolest story or coolest like inspiration behind it?
The coolest.
I think Way Less
Sad's. Yeah, Way Less Sad's the best story. You could tell.
Yeah, so we it started like probably
like 8 years.
8 years ago. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Where we found this sample from a Simon and Garfunkel song that's like one of our favorite songs of all time. The and we put it into like this disco track, and then we kind of forgot about it. Then fast forward, like, I can't do the math.
Probably about like 6 years.
Right? So fast forward 6 years, Kygo reached out to us and said, here, I have this track. Can you write some like top line over it? Can you write a song over this? And it was going to be like featuring Keith Urban. And so we wrote this song, and that's when we ended up writing Don't You Love It? No, I Ain't Happy Yet, but I'm way less sad.
Just that chorus.
Yeah, that chorus. And then they wanted to give it to a different DJ, and we were like, oh, actually, no, we'll take it back. But like, there's something here. And so then fast forward like 2 years later, right? Is that the math?
Yeah, about almost 2 years, a year and a half. Yeah.
Cardi B's label reached out to us saying, do you have any tracks? Cardi B is like looking for tracks and top line. And so then we took that Simon and Garfunkel sample, put it into like more of a hip hop setting, and created that beat. And wrote this song over it. We sent it to Cardi B's label, and like a very similar thing happened. They said, this isn't right for Cardi B, but we'll give it to a different rapper. And we were like, So we basically took the Kygo chorus, the Cardi B track, smushed them together, and AJR-ified it and made it a song about actually something. And it turned into Way Less Sad.
That's super, super cool.
And speaking of Way Less Sad, I mean, obviously we've seen the commercials. You guys are like teaming up with Major League Baseball on that one. How did that all get hooked up? That's crazy.
Yeah, that was really cool. We had no idea that was going to happen. It's honestly the coolest part of being an artist, where you write a song about a certain thing, and then it gets picked up for this whole new thing. Like last year, Bang with the Apple commercial and the Kardashians like theme. We obviously didn't write it, for that setting, but to have Major League Baseball come and say, we hear this as our theme song of baseball is back and reopen. It's like, sure.
It's always so weird to see your own song in like a movie or anything like that, and you're like, no, this doesn't work, because you're so close to it. But I saw the promo the other day, and it's the first time where I was like, wow, this actually really works. I get that one. That feels like baseball's back.
With all the things with all like the big commercials that they're going to attach to, I know, like, for example, like Bang is like pretend you know this song, and you're gonna have to like you're gonna
Yeah.
have to change that. It's gonna make people gonna be like sing the song. Like people are gonna know this
Nice.
now.
Good. Yeah. Hopefully.
Is there anything you want the listener to know while listening
Oh, to the music?
to the music? Yeah.
I don't know. I think we never stopped thinking about us in like 7th grade. You know, when you're in 7th grade and you first discover your own taste in music, and it's no longer your parents' music. That's the music that stays with you forever. And you realize, oh, I'm not alone. And no matter how trivial and small my struggles might seem, I think that's the biggest thing that we want people to think about, whatever age they are, that they're not alone. And even if they're having this very unimportant issue, it still has some gravity to it. It still can feel important through music.
Very, very cool. And then last thing I have is just kind of talking about tour plans, because I know a few artists are kind of getting back to that. And now that you guys got your albums out, if you have any plans.
We may or may not have plans, and on Wednesday, we may or may not be announcing something.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Oh.
I'd love to hear that.
Yeah.
We didn't say anything.
We didn't
You didn't hear
nothing.
anything.
He
from
didn't
us.
say nothing. Yeah.
Lips
Jeez.
are sealed. We're very, very cool. Well, thank y'all for sitting down with us.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thanks so much for having us, guys.
Yep. Have a good one.